going on, guys? It is Rexsi here. Today we are back once again with another War vs. 1 ranked duel. Now, sorry if I sound a little different. I'm in like this this little gaming type room. That's why the videos have been a little, you know, the pre-records for the weekend stuff. I've been helping my parents move to their new place. That is like a little ways away. Absolutely beautiful place. I kind of want to show you guys real quick before we get started here. Look at the view that they have from the freaking master bedroom, dude. Check this out. Before we get started, by the way. So sorry if you're not interested, you can just skip. Does this work? My display capture does not seem to be working. Oh, maybe because it's below it? Oh, there we go. So check this. So this is a view from the master bedroom, and you can go from the living room and see the exact same thing. That's a river, and it's friggin' amazing, and because my dad loves hunting and fishing and stuff. He can legally hunt out of his backyard. You can fish like stripers and stuff, and just right from the river, because when the water level goes down, there's like a nice dock, and I mean, oh, it's a really nice place. But anyways, let's get to it. Yeah, now I'm officially in the place. So for the next week until I move to my new place, I will be chilling here and recording while I'm here. I think my chair's a little too high. What the heck? It is. Whoa. Okay, that should be fine. Yeah, sorry, there's just so much going on, man. I've been so freaking busy. I literally haven't had time to stream, go to the gym, anything. I've just been extremely busy. So anyways, yeah, let's get to it. We got our Thanatos guide. Now, before we get too deep into it, let's go with the build. The builds that I typically like to choose differ between starting into Transcendence or starting into Tier 1 Beat Stick. The only time I go into Beat Stick is if I'm very confident in the early game. If I'm really confident in the early game, and it's or if it's a character, for example, that has like a lot of healing, then you're gonna want to go Beat Stick, Tier 1 Beat Stick, so Mace, which will give you a bit of additional power. So you can actually even start by double buffing. It's actually viable. You could technically double buff whenever you want to with Thanatos, but typically I don't really do that because I find I'm not pushed up in the wave, and like usually I want to go for first blood off of the first wave because Thanatos' early game is just so stupidly strong. But yeah, you see we basically like insta clear this speed. And I also start with 3 health potions, 1 multi. You really don't need any mana with Thanatos. Hit him with the third progression, Silence. He's gonna go into his minions here like they always do, but you do get the AoE auto in. So you're eventually gonna hit him, and then you just throw your one. Using your pressure early game with Thanatos is just freaking huge. I accidentally logged in my Swerve, but I think I have a perfect win-loss ratio on Thanatos at this account as well. But yeah, I've been #1 Thanatos every single season for the past multiple seasons in Duel, at least. Thanatos is probably one of my best gods in all of Smite. I've got a lot of experience in this god ever since the beginning. You know, I typically wasn't the best back then, obviously, no one really was, but I was building like dead gods and shit. But nowadays with Duel, the thing is that you do not see Thanatos very much in Duel, just because he's really not that great at the Duel god. The only reason that I'm able to somewhat do well with him is because of how much snowball potential you actually have. Also, please keep me updated on the sound that you guys hear. If the sound is bad or anything, please let me know. Because this is going to be a learning experience with us for the next little bit until I have to move locations again. So if you have any thoughts, comments on the sounds, let me know below. So I want to typically back around this time. Around before 1:45 second. That actually blows. If he stops me from backing, I'm killing him. And I need to. Okay. So yeah, typically you want to stop, or you want to get back to base before like the 1:45 second mark on most gods, unless you have a jump, just so that you're back in time for the red buff. So as you can see what I did there, I got the first blood and I rotated to the mids, wave, backs, wave, and then back to base. And then typically sometimes like this guy here is actually backing. And also hitting your one on Thanatos is probably the biggest tip of all. But yeah, Thanatos works very well with Transcendence. It makes his snowball potential even crazier. If we're to talk about Thanatos' sort of wonky matchups, they would be things like, in my experience, and it's probably the most dual Thanatos experience in the entire game, he typically struggles with characters such as mostly warriors, and even some guardians. Thanatos can struggle against like Ymir and stuff. Gods that have higher base health and just higher base protections in general, you'd think like, oh, well, you know, his one his one is, you know, it's percentage HP based and stuff like that. Yeah, I understand that, but that's still only one ability. You gotta realize that, right? Just because it scales off of a higher number doesn't change the fact that it's still a high-ass number, right? So when someone's squishy and you hit them, although yes, it does that percentage, it's just the pure power of the one. That's just what makes Thanatos dangerous, right? And it catches people off guard so hard. I swear to God, based on like this start that I go with, it's timing your auto attack progression and being smart with it, and holding your one and always using it at the appropriate time. Grouping with silence, so you try and so when you silence in that initial little wave there, you could see that it hit him and the minions aggro towards me and got them to clump a little more together, making it a little more easy for me to, you know, to hit all the minions at once, right? I'm only throwing ones out like that willy-nilly. Typically, I always save my one for when I'm like confident to fight against my opponent, or unless I really need to heal. So sometimes you can just throw it out and hope for the best, and through experience you can get better at hitting it, obviously. But he also went beats, so I'm not too worried about that. He went shell rather than bracer because typically with Thanatos, I only go bracer if it's a matchup I know that I'm gonna snowball really, really hard in. Like, going bracer on a healer, I know a lot of people aren't, you know, that forward, or like I'd say, just because they're like, oh, well, he's gonna get anti-heal, so bracer's useless. But the thing is that typically, most of the time, I'd say 80% of the time, you're going to be up against a character that is going to do a number of things. They're going to usually rush Attacker's Blessing into their starter item, which is typically a stacking item, right? For physical characters, it'd be like stacking item. But on magicals, that shit is like almost always a bank cross. That was close. I was considering diving on that, but he has beads, so he would just beads our stun there. So we did actually commit to his ult on us right before red spawn, but I'm not too worried here. I still have pressure and he doesn't have Argus. I managed to not juke that. And it's also a big thing with Thanatos is just, you know, it's obviously just baiting people. And like acting like you're gonna disengage and then immediately going and engaging once they put themselves in a position. So just like that, we're already back at full health, as you can see. So I'm gonna put pressure on this red buff and try and bait him back here. Oh, unfortunately that was just a range. Either way, we get the red. That's all that matters. So I'd like to back as soon as possible for Transcendence, and he's actually going anti-heal right now. So some people do this, but rushing Divine, it's great and everything. It's gonna slow me down in terms of my heals, right? That's a given. But in terms of pure power, like the amount that you'll get off Bancrofts in comparison, like, hey, what up? It's typically much more worthwhile. Now, unfortunately, I choked really. Listen, I also haven't played in a little while, so cut me some slack. Okay, it's been, like, I haven't played in quite a few days, so. And I was trying to focus. And then I missed and I lost because I suck. That's fine. It's no biggie. I mean, we're still quite a ways ahead here. We're getting a little bit behind in gold. Not even behind, but evening out. Just because from that wave he got so much pressure and so many cubes died to that. But as you can see, we're still like ways ahead in XP. So we're not like too worried. Also, I'm on wireless internet right now, which also sucks, so my ping's kind of fluctuating. But as long as you're, like, as you saw, like, had I hit the one, had I hit the ult there, he's dead. So literally that's all you have to do, as long as you're purely focused on that, and, you know, your engagements and your positioning especially, with Thanatos and baiting people back and forth, and, you know, surprising them with that burst, right? Then you should be in the clear. And it's just not falling behind. If you fall behind with Thana, it can be pretty bad. So we're gonna go Thorns here, and we're also gonna go Genjis. Genjis for the resets as well as the cooldown, it's gonna be really useful. If I was against someone with more CC, like Anubis or something, I could go Bulwark for the CCR, it would be really useful. Unfortunately, we do lose tower here, but that's not my biggest concern in the world. Actually, Now, that's a big thing. If you put them in range like this, you can easily put them out of position. Like that. So he's dead. He's just killed himself. Because you just bait them around like this, right?
That was embarrassing for both of us.
And you die. There's always moments like that, though. It happens. But typically, people don't go beads, because for some reason this guy decided to go beads, which is a very, very weird decision. I happened to choke and miss, but still the fact that he went beads is extremely odd. It's a really weird pick early. Like, Aegis, like, you can counter Thanatos very easily by, like, just buying Aegis and reacting off sound. If you literally close your eyes and listen, you will never mistime your Aegis. You can't, not getting baited by Thanatos, like, with his ultimate is definitely one of the biggest things, right? Because that was the first time he's even used it. Obviously it worked out for him, but all I had to do was, like I said, just hit one singular one. Now right now I'm not playing, you know, the top level, but I'm still putting up like a good fight. I'm still ahead of him, right? In terms of XP at least. Okay, let's back to base. Get a full 2 Genjis. So yeah, Hera is also a bit of an annoying matchup. Her shield is definitely annoying, and the fact that she CCs like that, it's difficult for me to, you know, get close to her without kind of poking myself out a little bit. So once we get Transcendence stacked, it'll be really useful for a cooldown. Using your auto attack progression perfectly as well. Come on, that auto attack should have hit first, dude. Ugh. Fuck. God, this is annoying. It's so interesting. Why would he go those relics? Don't buy these relics. If you're going against Thanatos, my best advice is go Aegis. Go Aegis. Go. Don't do that either. Go Onk. There's tons of other things you can do, right? It's so easy to proc upgrade it Onk off of Thanatos, for example, or even like in the usefulness of it in general. Like beads, like yeah. I guess there's still like the very, very high chance that Thanatos can hit the scythe right after you beats it. I don't know. And then Shell doesn't actually put you out of range, by the way. So we're gonna Thorns here as well. There we go. Just like that. So we Thorns. So Thorns is like one of the best pickups you can get with Magicals, especially. The fact that I caught him out with Argus was the main thing there. Using my Thorns when he doesn't have Argus is huge, because then it's just, it allows me to completely reflect that damage onto him rather than Argus. And also, he's building physical protections, and magical, or Thorns is reflected as magical damage. So, that's why you typically don't want to go Thorns when you're up against, when you're not building magic defense. I'm not entirely certain when Argus is coming back up, so we're actually just going to rotate back to this, and I think I'm going to go Serrate it after this. Get ourselves some percentage pen. There are 2 routes you can go. You can either go a flat pen route, or you can go into percentage pen, and then, like Hydras, for example. It depends on what you need, and for this matchup, for example, I didn't start Beat Stick, right? I started straight into Transcendence, so I'm scaling more off power. And I don't really need Beat Stick or anything. If I want to Beat Stick next, I would go like the power route. I would go that path, but because like the amount of pen that like flat pen that you get from Thanatos 2 literally is just ridiculous. It's 35 flat pen when the 2 is active. You also got to keep in mind that it's not always active. So try and be smart about your use of your 2. Use that as an escaping tool and an engaging tool, obviously. You can use your 2 before you ult. Getting his beads off is definitely one of the bigger things here now. Playing around Argus, if I can get more cooldown than him and time my ults appropriately, it will put us in a much better spot. God, Hera's annoying. Okay, I'll pick it up, cunt. You want me to pick it up? I'll pick it up. Picked it up. There you go. Now I have more cooldown. Hope you're happy. Yeah, ability-based 100% is the way to go with Thanatos. That's always what you want to build. If you want advice with Thanatos, honestly, just listen to what I've been talking about this game and then watch me play a normal Thanatos game. So we're going to just use this to immediately get rid of Argus, which is really important. It actually gives aggro onto him. So I'm gonna ult and try and get beat too. It's the only reason I'm going after him. Nice. And then he's out of position again. So he has... We can use our thorns. But unfortunately he shoots up again, so we get nothing off of that. Okay, yeah. Well, we got his beads though. That's huge. Beads for just my beads for literally just my thorns. This is way worth, because now if we ult him again, we just hold him in place. His shield is just so annoying. Honestly, this is more of me kind of forgetting, I'll be honest. I think Sunder would have done a lot more for us here. Sunder would have been very useful versus Hera. Because it would have just gotten her out of at least one shield, but it's up just as often as Thorns. And the amount of engagements where it would be typically more useful for me to use Thorns rather than, or Sunder rather than Thorns is just too damn high, you know? Are you serious? How is Argus always up, man? Holy shit. You have to ult out, obviously, but... God damn, man. Argus is literally always up. That's one annoying ass thing about playing against Hera. Is he seriously just going straight for the Phoenix? Oh my god, damn, dude.
Your middle Phoenix is under attack.
It's another thing, when people try and juke your one, that is just time to get a bunch of auto attacks in. That is typically like the best time for that.
Your middle Phoenix is under attack.
Alright, Argus actually took a while to die there. So if I can catch him off guard with an ultimate here, because his speeds aren't up just yet. There we go, just like that. Perfect. So yeah, it's just baiting with relics and using your burst appropriately is your main goal. So it's circled back to what I talked about with the ult there. Like when you don't have beads and they put themselves in a position, you know, you can easily take advantage of it. So we actually get Phoenix here, which is huge. Let's go. Good stuff. That's what I like to see. I'm not sure if he actually did red either. So like this is like, I feel like this is even better. This is a much better video in terms of explanation. Like, I know you guys know that, you know, I typically pop off Thanatos, right? And I typically, you know, I snowball really hard as a thing. And I think this video in particular is a lot better for, you know, teaching you how to play around Thanatos' kit and use it to its full extent. Rather than just me stomping and then just insta-killing with the one, I feel like this is giving a much better example in terms of something like it being a bit of a more even game, right? And I'm not just curb stomping like I normally do. So that way you can fully see like what you can do to... See, that Book of the Dead. That, wow. Sunder would have been a much better idea. Thorns is still good though. Thorns has literally won us like 2 engagements now. It's not bad at all. Alright, that drop squeeze right. Okay, yeah. One step at him, yeah. Thought he'd turn around a little faster there. So yeah, just baiting in his abilities, trying to bait out Argus. Nope, don't get it. There we go. You see that? We timed our burst perfectly. Maybe on Argus, perfect. That's how it's done. Just like that. Bait at his abilities, use our CC immunity to our advantage with the ultimate, go up as fast as we can, land quickly so he can't beads, or he's not as likely to react with it. If we were to finish the build, we could have went a number of things. We could have went double defense. I don't recommend it. Depending on what he built next. So he had a lot of health, so Heartseeker might have actually been a really good idea. So for landing with the ultimate, you know, you 3-1, you combine that with like Hydra's procs is another thing that are completely super useful in Thanatos because you can do them so quickly, right? Even with your 2, right? So like I said, for example, in that previous engagement where he was circling around me, right? You need to use that to your full advantage on Thanatos, is holding your 1. holding your one, because it's like your trump card, right? It makes people try and juke like really fast. It's like when you try and when this guy like when you're trying to juke an Olerax or something, like when you're in close range, you immediately want to like juke to the right and left because the ability is so big when it's right in front of you, right? So your first instinct is, oh, quickly, I gotta circle around him like a Ymir freeze. You gotta circle around him so that the cone doesn't hit you, right? But when people do that, that's just free time for you to, you don't even have to one sometimes, bro. You can literally just use your auto attacks and they kill themselves because that Hera, instead of going straight to the tower, she juked immediately backwards, thinking that she was gonna juke. She did end up juking it, but she still put herself in a less good position, and I almost got a kill off of it, right? So that's like a huge thing. And then you can even do that. So you come up in range, you click your 2, get in range and auto attack, and then you can immediately throw it out to catch them off guard, or you can just keep waiting to hold it. But typically, depending on how much time you have, for example, in that last engagement there, I only had X amount of time. So I got as many Hydra's procs in and auto cancels that I could with my 3, my 1, my 2. You know, like there's just little things like that with Thanatos that it's all just a mind game, bro. That's all it is. I would have finished the build with a Heartseeker if you're curious, by the way. Just because the additional shield that she has based on her mana and just her Hera shield in general definitely would have been worth. So yeah, things to counter Thanatos. Shell's not too bad. I don't know how, like, the scary thing about Shell is that if you don't proc it before you're in range, you still die. But it can be useful as upgraded for those Hydra's procs, for example. It's like you're up against Susanoo. Yeah, he's just a lot more damage than me, but we managed to use our burst to advantage, right? It's not about poking him out and doing, like, it's about fucking full committing and doing as much damage as we can and surviving and, you know, using your sustain to your advantage, especially early game. Dude, that's like Thanatos 101. It's just pressuring that early game and keeping that momentum off of it. That's why I typically win Thanatos games in like less than 10 minutes, like almost every single time. Like, I don't even know, what's my velocity ratio? Oh, let's look real quick. I lost recently. What the fuck? What? How long ago was this? 14. That was the 14. Okay, yeah. Like I said, his biggest his struggles are against. Oh, this is auto tech Thanatos, anyways, right? I forgot I do challenges like this. I actually lost to a Merlin, really. Typically, I do well versus Merlins. Yeah, Set as well. Set just. Oh my god. Thanatos can do well against Set, but my god. So if we're actually looking at the duel, I think I'm number 2. Yeah, I'm just behind this guy here. I don't know who he is or whatever, but yeah. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, or you have any things that I missed, or you have questions, please be sure to leave them in the comments. I will be reading them. If you enjoyed this little 101 video on how to play Thanatos and this little guide type video, I didn't really feel like doing a complete typical guide. That just takes a lot of effort to edit. I thought, you know what, I'll just, you know, run it through with you guys and go over my typical Thanatos game, right? So hey, please let me know if you enjoyed, and if you did, please consider subscribing for more content like this. If you're new to this channel, I'd really appreciate it. Leave the video a like if you enjoyed, of course. Any support is very appreciated. Click that notification bell to stay notified. Anyways, I will see you next video, guys. I hope you all have a fan-freaking-tastic day. Bye-bye.